I want to show y'all this Stephen A. Smith on The View. Hold on, let me make sure I got the right. Hold on. It is Stephen A. Coming from a mile away. Hold on. All right, here we go. We got, what's the timestamp on this one? What's the timestamp? Y'all got it. Matter of fact, we're gonna play a little bit more than. Let's play a little bit more. Let's enjoy the view a little bit. Let's enjoy the view. I was just gonna go right to one clip, but you know what? Let's hang out with Whoopi and the team for a sec. Let's hang out with Whoopi and the team.
Of the election 2024 and where we go from here. Our soon-to-be neighbor, right over there. Please welcome Stephen A. Smith.
Hello, ladies.
Stephen A., your thoughts on the election as it just went down?
I was surprised at how lopsided it was. I was not surprised by the outcome. I saw the outcome coming from a mile away. You have to take into account, listen, we respect our president, Joe Biden.
Hold on. We're going to move on. Stephen A. Smith does a lot of blaming of Joe Biden. But I want to show y'all this. I don't feel like hearing Stephen A., I'll be honest.
For example, when you talk about the LGBTQ community,
listen to this.
They're an extreme fringe party. I think that they're operating against those they believe are extreme on the left. Like, for example, when you talk about the LGBTQ community, I'm a fiscal conservative and I'm a social liberal. I'm fiscal with my dollars. I ain't apologizing for not wanting to pay high taxes to anybody. I'm not apologizing for that, right? But outside of that, I'm pretty liberal. Live and let live, okay? But you had folks on the left that were introducing some things when we got in the whole transgender.
Just so y'all know, think about what he just said. I'm conservative with my money, but I'm liberal as far as the way that I live life. You know what's so funny? Is that most men that I speak to, especially when I speak to the men in the generation, let's say 50 to 80, that are voting Democrat, if you actually look at from cultural issues, from every aspect outside of the economy, I understand they'll say like, oh, well, Trump, I'm getting less Social Security or this, that. Okay. But when you look at the actual issues, whether it's the border, whether it's LGBTQ issues, whether it's drag queens in schools, whether it's tampons in boys' bathrooms, whether it's men playing in women's sports, the list goes on. They're actually conservative on those aspects. Now, Stephen A. is saying that he's the opposite. In my opinion, Stephen A. is just a puppet. He's a politician. It's been very clear that he's always been the type of person, he's going to adapt to whatever, he's going to adapt to his audience. Now, some people say that that's a good thing. Some people say that it's not. Rather than, in my opinion, what we're seeing right now is that the world is calling for people that don't just adapt to their audience and tell their audience what they want to hear, but people that actually stand on exactly who they are and let the audience decipher whether they're going to like them or not. That's what we're seeing. Stephen A. is a politician, in my opinion. He's putting in his play. He's been now trying to dabble in politics for the last couple of years. He's trying to make a run at something. Nothing wrong with that. But I want y'all to pay attention to what he's saying and pay attention to what he said as far as I'm conservative with my money, but I'm liberal with my values. Live and let live. Just let it happen. You got drag queens in schools. Just let it happen. You got boys playing sports against girls. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. It's all good. It's all good. We got a feminized group of men in the just let it happen.
Issue, and they were talking about bathrooms, or they were talking about things, okay?
Listen to this.
But you had folks on the left that were introducing some things when we got in the whole transgender issue, and they were talking about bathrooms, or they were talking about males transitioning to females and competing against girls in sports and stuff like that. These
That's
are
less than 1% of the population.
I understand that,
but you know what? Add Aaron during the NFL.
But see, but that
she just said that that's 1% of the population. That's ridiculous. I want y'all to listen to this one more time before I comment. One more time.
against girls, or they were using some things when we got in the whole transgender issue, and they were talking about bathrooms, or they were talking about males transitioning to females and competing against girls in sports and stuff like that. These
That's
are
less than 1% of the population.
I understand that,
But you know what? Out of here,
ridiculous.
bring the NFL.
That's less than 1% of the population. That's ridiculous. If that's ridiculous because it's such a small percentage of the population, I have something to ask, especially the black Democrats, the black people that voted Democrat. Do y'all remember when Joe Biden was running against Donald Trump in 2020? I know my parents remember this. And I know if you talk to me about politics at the time, then you remember me saying this. I was stuck on the fact that Joe Biden said that his number one priority for his administration was the LGBTQ community. His number one priority was the LGBTQ community. The same person that is supposedly about prison reform, the same person that put together the crime bill that has probably locked up more black men than any other bill in maybe the history of our country. His number one priority was the LGBTQ community. Now, I don't know the percentage of the LGBTQ community, but I know the percentage is a lot less than the overall black community, a lot of these other communities, Hispanic community, white, whatever. And your number one priority is the LGBTQ community. But then when we're talking about a conversation that they're having, that Stephen A. Smith brings in, the fact that a lot of people were turned off by these liberal viewpoints, like men playing sports against women. Her response is, that's only a small population. It's a small 1%. That's ridiculous. So it's ridiculous to not like a particular culture, to not like something that is happening in society, that there's only 1% or whatever percentage impacting these things, right? It's ridiculous to say, I don't like the Democrats in the direction that they're going because they're okay with men playing sports. They don't even know you ask them what a woman is, they can't even identify it, whatever. They're okay with this. It's ridiculous to be upset with that. But then it's not ridiculous to make your number one priority while running for president of the United States of America, the entire country, and to make your number one priority a very small percentage of the population, the LGBTQ community. Are y'all, am I tripping on that, or is that something that y'all are real? I don't know. Let's listen to how Stephen A. responds to it, though.
But I think that's where the mistake is made.
Yeah,
you're saying it's ridiculous. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
But most of the voters out there don't think like.
You could tell a lot when somebody starts stuttering, especially professional speakers. He just pandered to the entire viewcast. It's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. Y'all based Donald Trump's entire presidency on one day, January 6th. Don't even consider anything else that he did in office. But now we can't look at certain policies that Democrats and liberals are pushing that we may not agree with. If you agree with them, cool. But people may not agree with them. And if we're using that as a factor in who we're voting for, and we're using that as a factor, one of the factors that we do not want to support this group of this Democratic Party anymore, it's ridiculous. And Stephen A. Smith has the nerve to get up in here, has the nerve. Now I'm stuttering. I'm getting pissed off. I'm not, well, I'm a professional now. So yeah, I got my first check from you. Well, my first check is waiting for me from you too. Our first check. Now you have Stephen A. Smith getting up here just blatantly lying just to appease Sonny. Talking about, I agree with you, it's ridiculous. Stop it.
But I think that's where the mistake is made.
Yeah,
you're saying it's ridiculous. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
But
I don't disagree with you. Whenever people start saying, I don't not like that. No. Do you agree with it or not? I don't disagree with you.
Most of the voters out there don't think like that.
So now, Stephen A., most of the voters don't think like that. Most of the voters are too simple-minded to think how you and I think, Sonny.
That means they don't have the information.
Okay, but 90%.
What information do we not have? Y'all are trying to put boys in sports. Why would I want somebody in a leadership position? In a leadership position, some people wouldn't even trust people to babysit their kids. If you sat down your babysitter and you said, like, yo, how do you feel about, do you think that, men should be able to compete against women in sports? What? And if they said, yeah, I do think that would make me say, like, yo, I don't know about this. Like, this person is crazy. But now we're okay with that person and that ideology running the country. Because what does it start off as? Oh, well, it's just, one kid playing in sports. Okay. Then it turns into drag queens at schools. Then it turns into, somebody just sent me a book, or I saw it on X, where they got a book of a pregnant father, 2 men, and one of the men is pregnant. It's like, yo, what is going on here? This is what they're trying to push on the kids. And Stephen A., clown, just like you said, Bez, clown, is on here he's trying to pivot and agree with it. Oh, well, he's trying to call the Democratic Party out by saying, hey, what y'all did was wrong here. This is why. And then when he gets pushed back from Sonny, he's, oh, I'm not saying that I said that. I'm talking about those people out there.
That of the voters don't have the information. If you're out there busting your tail to make ends meet and to pay your bills, and you're going to work every day, and you got a family to take care of, and you're in New York City, you're getting stuck 2 hours of your day, you're stuck in traffic. You understand? You got a whole bunch of stuff to go through. You don't have time to know what you and I know.
Maybe you need to listen to the news.
Now it's a lack of information. Stephen A. is so corny, man. And like you said, Maya, I don't even know why he's even on here. He's on here because he's trying to make a push. He's been trying to get some type of political respect now because he's tired of talking sports. This is what Trump, he needs to thank Trump. This is what Trump is caused. Now everybody thinks they could just run for president. Shout out to Trump. Got everybody thinking that they can run. Cool. On here just lying. Stephen A. is on here just lying. Talking about, a lot of people may not understand why I'm upset with this. This is exactly what Barack Obama did. This is exactly what Michelle Obama did. When Barack Obama was condemning black men and calling out black men for either not voting for Kamala or considering voting for Donald Trump, there was a gentleman that was sitting right there that said, well, I'm not voting for Trump. It's not me. Nope, not me. And Barack Obama responded and said, well, it's the Pookies. It's the Pookie in your family. What Barack Obama was trying to say is that it's the unintelligent black men that will consider voting for Trump. What Jermaine Dupri, when we showed that corny, embarrassing Black Men Summit that D.L. Hughley did with BET, what did Jermaine Dupri say? I'm talking to the YDS generation, young, dumb, and stupid. Calling young men young, dumb, and stupid because they don't want to support the Democratic Party. Now Stephen A. is on here talking about, well, these people got jobs. We can't expect them to have as much information as you and I have. Stephen A., this is not as complicated of a situation as y'all are trying to make it seem, and you know it's not. You know it's not. Just because the finesse and the propaganda and the sweet talking and the social programs that y'all dangle in front of black people, just because it's no longer working, does not mean that this group of people is uninformed. It just means that they're not going for the BS that the Democratic Party is spewing. It means that they're no longer going with the fear mongering, that they don't think that Trump is the big bad boogeyman that y'all are trying to make him out to be, that are pissed off because you keep taking certain people's votes for granted. that are pissed off when you have Joe Biden coming in talking about his number one priority is the LGBTQ community. And based on Sonny's logic that we just heard, why make it your number one priority? It's only a small percentage of the population.
Is when you're in traffic.
Well,
Well,
again,
maybe
I agree
not.
with that.
Be uninformed.
Or you listen to stuff that's going to take you away from the things that brings down your spirit. And that's unfortunately what most voters are doing.
Let me ask you this. How
This is embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. It is so corny how these black men, weak men, hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men create tough times. We are in that generation of weak men. Ladies, y'all are celebrating it. Y'all are celebrating it and don't even understand that you celebrating weak men and weak male leadership and clapping for weak and emotional men is creating the next group of men that for your daughters that you would never want to date. We are creating soft, cowardly men. This is what's happening right now. And overly intense and strong women. And why do they have to become that? And this is why I say it's always on the men. They're adapting to us. If they have a group of men that they can't trust to lead, that are not strong, they can't trust to protect them, can't trust them to provide for them. So now they have to do all those things on their own. And because they built up so much resentment, turning into something to compete against in all these areas, now that's why they come across as so strong, like Letitia James, looking like she's getting, like, corralling people together to go fight Donald Trump. Crazy. All right, let's move on to, hold on. So actually, I think, is that the last video? All right, so that's the last video. All right, so I'm gonna let y'all get out of here. But before I let y'all get out of here, hold on, let me hide this. Before I let y'all, shout out to Nas, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that love. Definitely appreciate that love, man. We need more people like you. Underrated stream for real, yeah. And I'm patient. So to all those, I gave y'all 24 hours. I gave people, even when I came on here on Wednesday. I didn't say any of this, but yo, we deserve, I'm talking about we, us on here. We deserve for a lot of these people that for the last couple of years we've been doing this show, been telling us that we were wrong about certain things, we're seeing it differently, that no, people don't look at the world like, oh. Everything that we're seeing, Sank call out, Stephen A call out, a lot of these other people call out, Letitia James, not Letitia James. Everything that they're complaining about with all the infighting, and there's more, there's a lot more, but everything that we're seeing is exactly the things that we've been discussing on this show. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.